Hello, Richard Tromans here again at Artificial Lawyer TV. Today we're doing a slightly different type of product walkthrough. The product is called Campaign Tester and it has multiple applications, but in the legal sphere, it could be used for analyzing people's reactions to, for example, a witness's deposition and allowing a law firm or of a legal body to understand more precisely the audience's reaction to that witness through their video statements. To explain a little bit more, because I'm sure you're intrigued already, is Aaron, who is the CEO of the company. Aaron, thank you very much for being on the show. I think probably the easiest way to explain this is let's go straight into a screen share, and you can then please give us a walkthrough.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Richard. I appreciate the opportunity to share this with your audience. So our company is Campaign Tester, and we've developed technology called Emotion Track, which allows us to glean insights from remote audiences of any type of video. And in the case of the legal category, it's for sharing depositions of whether it be an expert witness, whether it be the plaintiff, defendant, even opening and closing statements for attorneys. And the benefits are that we could track and analyze facial expressions in real time through using a front-facing camera of the unbiased audience, which receives the video through a mobile app that they have on their phones. And they watch the video uninterrupted, and we capture naturally their natural reactions as they're watching the video. And showing here, we'll show you we have to capture 8 different emotions, and these are the emotions. And we measure spikes and dips of the aggregate of the audience reactions in real time. And what happens is after we capture that intelligence, we're able to interpret a few different things. We're able to determine how effective the audience reactions to whether it be your opposing counsel's witness or your own witness or yourself doing an opening statement. And what that might look like is something like this. It might be a report that shows how appealing the audience finds the witness. What is the likability factor? Do they find the witness to be likable, not likable, very likable? Do they find the witness to be credible? Do they find the witness to be trustworthy? And again, these are authentic reactions by people watching a question and answer video deposition. Thirdly, we also track content, whether they find the narrative to be emotionally uplifting or they find the content to be engaging. And these are very, very strong indexes that we capture through the artificial intelligence that is captured through our system.
Interesting. So let's just break that down a little bit. So let's think of an example. So a law firm is involved in a case. It has an expert witness, but you're unsure if this is going to be a good expert witness. So you bring in Campaign Tester, you assemble a test audience. How many people do you need? 10, 20, 100?
It's a great question. So with artificial intelligence, we try to deliver 100 respondents. The goal is 100 respondents per demographic group. You can mix a demographic group, but it's 100 people that we want to get data from, which gives us enough of a sample size to interpret the results.
Fantastic. Actually, could you put back the slide that had that graph showing the emotions? Because I found that fascinating.
Okay, I'm actually going to share with you a slide that I have open of an actual test and not just a screenshot. So this is a lot of data, and you can see that I can actually isolate different emotions. And we actually have people that the system actually interprets the data and says, okay, so this was an 8-minute deposition that we put through the system. You don't need 8 minutes. You could probably gather enough data in 5 minutes or less. And it shows various spikes and dips of the different audiences. And you can see here, we have filters where we can see how females react towards that versus males. And you can see there's different spikes and dips. The same thing, we also track engagement. And what engagement is defined as eyes on the screen. Are they engaged in the content? Are they engaged in the story as it's building? And you could see that males and females have different reaction time. And what you do is the video actually can be played back. Okay, if you can see in the upper right corner of my screen.
At your hospital, if you got a
Do you
call,
see that? There's the expert witness.
Patient who was a high risk.
They probably can't hear it,
Oh,
but
I see that. So that's the expert witness. So I thought someone had just pirated and jumped into our call.
oh, no, no, no. So
That's your witness.
that's the witness. And we can actually look at the expert witness's reactions also frame by frame and second by second. I'll pull up that report. That might take a few
Well,
minutes.
while you're doing that, let me just ask you. So first of all, well, I've got several questions and also a regulatory question. First of all, who are these people? They're just people who volunteer. They need a bit of extra cash. I presume they don't do it for free.
So another great question, Richard. So you have the option to import your own audience if you happen to have your own list, and you can deploy the test. We call it a test. Deploy the test through your own audience. Or if you wanted to say, okay, we need to target an audience that are located in Golders Green, okay, or in Brooklyn, New York, or wherever it might be. We can put together an audience and deliver the test to that specific audience. What we do is we recruit the audience that has no familiarity prior about the case, and when they receive the video, they're usually incentivized and said, oh, you know, if you participate and watch this 2-minute video, you'll receive a $2 Amazon gift card for participating.
Gotcha. Okay,
so,
that makes sense. Next question. The person whose face and voice is being blasted out there, do they have control over their image? I mean, I guess have they given consent? And then secondly, you're kind of doing facial recognition on a bunch of people. That data is actually quite valuable, which could be used by other businesses and, let's face it, government agencies. So you've got two consent issues there. So does the expert witness, for example, give consent? And secondly, the people whose faces are being mapped and tracked, are they giving consent? And do they actually know that they're giving their faces over?
Those are great questions. First of all, to let you know, our product is fully, we're in compliance with both GDPR and CCPA, the California Consumer Privacy Act, as well as GDPR. When we capture intelligence from the audience, we are capturing what we call facial detection and not facial recognition. We're only watching slight changes in their facial gestures. It's called facial action coding. And based on their movements of their faces, it's determining one of 8 different emotions. Are they happy? Are they sad? Are they confused, etc.? Secondly, as it relates to and they all opt in. So when they've installed the mobile app and to receive the video, they've already agreed to use the front-facing camera and to be recorded.
Gotcha.
And we also, and after the video is complete, we actually purge their images. So the system is wiped and we're not capturing the intelligence. We're capturing the data, but we're not storing their faces.
Gotcha. I think that is the key question. And I think in certain countries that would make some people nervous, you know, in like Russia, for example, you know,
Right.
But probably less so in others.
And as far as the witness or the person that's the video is being played about, they typically would sign a consent form, I think, with counsel, so that their video can be used. You know,
would this be used actually for the defendants? You know, let's say the law firm has this CEO of a big company, and it turns out he's had his hand in the till, and they're thinking, what are we going to do with this guy? You know, we need to see if he can deliver these lines without, you know, in a believable way. I mean, would you do that?
Absolutely. The platform can be used for a plethora of use cases. We're actually partnered with a investor relations firm out of Canada that is using our platform to test the CEO's messages to new investors. So to see how an investor base might react to a CEO's video messaging. Are they compelling enough? Are they passionate enough? Are they exciting enough? Uh, is it an old boring CEO who's just like blah 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 blah? And because
It's an interesting one though, isn't it? Because like I mean, I remember giving a speech in um, it was Denmark in Copenhagen, and I was told when I finished my little speech, I said, right, any questions? And there was absolute silence, and everybody's faces were like, and then someone put their hand up and asked a question, and another person asked a question, and we had a good conversation. And then afterwards, the organizer came up to me. She said, "Wow, it's very surprising because in Denmark, if you get even one question, it's unusual. Usually, you will get no reaction at all from your presentation, and that's usually a good thing."
so
Uh,
we didn't need our system for that.
mm,
You're the perfect case study for
because I
emotional
just
reactions.
because I was just thinking that's I mean, I'm not trying to put you on, well, I suppose I am trying to put you on the spot. It's different cultural groups, different nations, etc., respond to different types of behavior in different ways. Hence, that's culture, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Um, a group of Japanese people would probably react slightly differently to somebody shouting and speaking very loudly and very excitedly compared to, say, a group of people in New York who'd be like, that's completely normal. you know, maybe like, oh, well, yeah, this guy's obviously just a completely normal guy. In Japan, guys being very loud and very energetic would be, wow, this guy's a bit scary. I mean, so
Well,
how does that work?
well, that's also another great question. I think culturally, the audiences would be selected based on that culture, and they would react based on how the culture is expected to watch a speaker as well. So if it's someone in Japan who's moving around and they're moving, the audience would react maybe in that fashion as well. So the system doesn't understand culture. It just understands facial gestures and facial reactions.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a data system. It's data in, data out. It captures the intelligence and it reports the intelligence. And that's why it's such a powerful platform.
Interesting. Interesting. No, I do find it interesting. I think I also find it, I'll be honest, slightly scary. I think in your hands it's probably very safe, but I start to worry about how this will be used by other people.
Well, let me just tell you also that the videos available to the audience based
Mhm.
on the client's completion time of the test. So let's say you want to gather data about a case,
Mm.
okay, and you're going to send out opposing counsel's expert witness, and you want to get those insights. You'll say, you know what, I want the video to be available only for 4 hours, and we're going to invite these 200 people to watch the video. The minute the 4 hour time has come and gone, the video disappears from the people's mobile app. It's no longer available.
Gotcha. No, no,
So the
fair enough.
video,
And just last question really. So so you've obviously started talking to some lawyers and some law firms. Where are you taking this now? What happens next, at least with the legal world?
in the legal world, we're already gaining traction. We're setting up meetings for new product presentations. They're looking for tools that can give them the edge to win. What will advantage will they have over their opposing counsel? Can they get their client, the success that they were hired to do? And based on some feedback of some tests we've already run, one attorney said to me, "This is great. I had a feeling about the opposing counsel's witness, but now I'm actually going to take your video report to my opposing counsel and try to settle the case because his expert witness really did not perform very well in front of an external, unbiased audience." So
Interesting.
we're rolling this out to other attorneys, getting in touch with them. Obviously we're in COVID and people are not back in the courtrooms in the U.S., but they're finding our product very incremental to their preparation for their cases.
Gotcha. Well, fantastic. Well, very interesting. Reminds me of some tools I saw a few years ago, which were being used to analyze juries in the US, where they would examine the history of each juror and their social media comments and so forth. But they hadn't got to the point of actually analyzing people's faces. Would this? I mean, in most countries, in the UK, obviously, it would be a complete no-no, absolutely no chance. But in the US, I don't know. Would you be able to use this system on jurors to decide if you when you're doing jury selection? Would that be possible?
In theory, yes, but that would require some type of camera on every single juror, and then we can interpret the results of their reactions to the questioning. And some would have to interpret the audio, their reactions to that. So um, definitely, again, be incremental to the selection process. Uh, Coordinating logistics of getting cameras into courtrooms and getting approval by the judge, and then making sure the internet connected to the attorneys at their tables. So, absolutely interesting stuff.
No, absolutely. Thank you very much. Well, thank you, Aaron, for showing us the demo. Very
Absolutely.
interesting stuff. And please keep us updated on how the work progresses.
Well, appreciate the opportunity of being on your show. Thank you so much again.